A Boomer Alley video.
Lately, I've noticed that a lot of people are worried that we're losing some of our freedoms. Gun rights people are worried that the government isn't going to allow us to have grenade launchers or surface-to-air missiles or whatever weapons we choose to use to, shoo those pesky woodpeckers away. Tea Party people are worried that we're losing the freedom to choose private death panels, that they've been replaced by government death panels. Gay rights activists want the freedom to marry whomever they choose, thereby, as those of us who are married know, give up most of their freedom. So why am I bringing this up? Because there's a freedom that I'm worried about too. It's the freedom to fail. Now, I know some of you are thinking, sure, Mark, you're worried about that because you're so good at failing. Maybe. But the real reason I'm bringing this up? Well, a couple of weeks ago, the cover story of Time magazine was about 10 things for the next 10 years. And each story was a big idea for the next American century. Well, the one that caught my eye was entitled In Defense of Failure. The writer, Megan McArdle, was making the point that one of the great American freedoms is the freedom to fail. We've always given our citizens room to fail. We've all heard the expression, if at first you don't succeed, try again. And we know most of the major American failure stories. Thomas Edison, who failed the first 9,000 times he tried to invent the light bulb, probably because he couldn't see what he was doing. But the point is, he eventually succeeded because he kept trying. Abraham Lincoln, he failed all over the place in politics and business. The guy couldn't even pick out a decent hat. I mean, check out his resume. He wouldn't even make it on Celebrity Apprentice. But thankfully, he kept trying. When Christopher Columbus ran into America, he was trying to get to China. Nice job, Chris. The list goes on and on. But here's the thing that I'm worried about. Today, we all seem to want instant gratification. When there's a problem, we want it solved right, and we want it solved right now. Example, we expect our politicians to do the exact right thing or say the right thing the second they open their mouths. But if they realize that they're making a mistake and they want to change their minds, do we go, hooray, they finally come to their senses? No, we call them flip-floppers. The result, they don't do anything because they're afraid to fail and they don't have the courage to succeed. Look, I'm as angry as anybody about the moral failure of Wall Street, but I applaud their innovation and their constant search for new product. Yes, it would be nice if they could figure out how to fail where the rest of us don't get screwed, but still, they have to be able to fail. We can't dumb down the system. Anyone who works for a successful high-tech company can tell you stories about some startup they worked for that failed. But those failures were steps on the ladder to success. So, how do we get America back on track? By failing. And then trying again. And then maybe failing again. Failure, it's part of our entrepreneurial DNA. It's what we do best. At least that's what I think. Visit us on Facebook, get in on the discussion, let us know what you think. And don't forget about the new Boomer Alley radio show. The podcast is right on our website. I'm Mark at boomeralley.com.
It's Boomer Alley, love.
Boomer Alley Radio.